All right, you guys, I am live officially, and people are favoriting my links. That's awesome. Um, so hey everyone, I know it's been a while. You guys probably don't care where I've been, but I guess I kind of do deserve to tell you what's been going on. I started a new job. It's full time. It's been eating away at my time, and because my job has weird hours where I work afternoon times until late evening, it's really hard for me to, film during the daytime. Luckily today I had the day off and I was definitely going to do a YouTube video. I've been wanting to do it for weeks. Like people on Twitter, because one week I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do a live show this week, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll try to do it and epic fail. I couldn't get it done because of the time restraints that I'm under with this new job. But I miss Booktube a lot, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So we're just gonna get started. The title of this whole, I guess, live show is basically me doing a reflection of my time on BookTube, which I haven't really been on here that long, but I don't know. Sometimes after you do BookTube after a certain extent, sometimes you feel like you've been here longer than what you actually have been. So I don't know, take that as you will. So I'm gonna reflect on my time on BookTube. Let me go to my settings. I wrote down all the questions here on my handy dandy smartphone that I need to keep awake. Um, I have this stupid power saving thing where it wants to shut off like after 30 seconds. That's we changed that so we can get through these questions. All right, so we're going to get through this reflection. I'm going to reflect on a lot of things on BookTube. I thought I had my tracker on so I could keep track of the comments, but you guys let me, I have two people watching. Hey, you guys, I always like to acknowledge you guys who are watching. Hello, let's read. How are you? I miss you guys so much. I can't believe it. I totally miss you guys. So let's get through these questions. Let me pull them back up. Let's reflect, you guys. Let's reflect. I got this idea from several booktubers who have been reflecting on their time on BookTube, and I thought it would be nice to do the same thing and reflect on, my time on BookTube. And I reached 700 subscribers, you guys. Yay! Super excited about that. I don't know how that happened. I haven't made content in about a month, so I don't know where this is coming from. A lot of it's coming from other booktubers who have been talking about the channel. They've been talking about letters to books, and people have watched them and they decided to subscribe, which I'm happy about. But all right, let's go. First question is why I started this channel. Um, Let me see. Thinking back, I started this channel for a couple of reasons. I had a gaming channel before this, and I spoke a little bit about this on a previous live show, but I had a gaming channel. I love gaming. I have several interests besides just reading, just like all of my other viewers, they have other interests besides just reading, though, we do have a passion and a love for reading, which is why a lot of us, like 99.9% of us, have started booktube channels. But I had a gaming channel. Um, Gaming and being a girl is just, it's just so much crap. Um, and so I saw one day a booktube video. I don't know whose video it was. I think it was one of those weird things where you go down the tunnel hole of YouTube and you find these groups of people who talk about something that you love and that you haven't seen with such passion and vigor before. I think it might have been Readables. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was her video. I watched a whole bunch of them, and then I got a whole bunch of books that she recommended, and it started this whole buying spree thing, and I got out of control, and so yeah, I see your comments, let's read. So life, yeah, life does get out of control. And so I saw her videos. I bought all those books, and I was already making somewhat of video content already. So I was like, okay, let me make a booktube video, and then I came up with my booktube introduction, which is why I didn't do this tag in a sense. This tag is really the newbie tag, but it's kind of been changed to be more, conversational. And so that's why we're doing it now. I got tagged to do this a while ago, but I've already been doing Booktube for a month or maybe a month and a half. I didn't feel I was qualified to actually do the newbie tag video anymore. Though, to be honest, you can kind of do whatever you want on Booktube, and that's one of the great things. Like, you don't feel like you're pigeonholed into doing um, certain things all the time. At least now that I've been doing Booktube for the amount of time that I've been doing it, I don't feel like I'm pigeonholed into doing certain things like I used to when I first started Booktube, which I guess is a whole other conversation. Number two, what is something unique about my channel? Um, I think the aspect of conversation that I try to drive, or at least that's, where I'm coming from as far as making Booktube videos. I think that's the unique item that I bring to Booktube, is that a lot of the things that I do is to drive conversations. I really don't have like alternative motives or goals when I make videos or conversation videos. I just really want to know what you think and actually have a conversation, because one of the positives about viewers and subscribers and comments is that someone cares about what you have to say, and I like to reciprocate that. And so I think that's something unique, that's a focal point of my channel, is discussions. Another thing is probably letters to books and other projects that I want to do in the Booktube community to kind of drive other things that we do here. I know some of like the hot topic things that we do are hauls and reviews, and we have like a template on things that we're really good at. That's what Booktube is really good at. We're good at driving that excitement over the new books that we got. We love talking about the experience that we experience with a book. Most of all, we love sharing those experiences with other people and maybe reflecting off of their own experience from a book. We, give and take. That's what we're really good at, and I would really love to drive other things like letters to books. I think, oh man, I forgot her name. I'm so horrible with names, but there was let me see. There was another booktuber who I'm subscribed to. She started doing letters to books, and I was like, yeah, I love it, and I can't wait to maybe bring some of her content this winter when I restart letters to books. But that's the unique things that I think that I bring to Booktube beyond myself, because everyone is their own unique person, and we all know that. Um, Next question. Let me check these bad boys off. Next question. What are you most excited about your channel? Um, I'm really excited about the feedback that I get with my viewers. There's nothing like having a conversation with you guys, and I love doing live shows. So I'm really excited about in the future doing more live shows with my viewers in general, like people who don't even have booktube channels, just joining in on these conversation like things and us actually having different conversations. I know for the sake of fluidity of like live shows, I probably have to vet who comes on, so that way it's not like a huge, crap storm or something like that. But I'm excited about that. I'm excited about Letters to Books, the winter edition that's coming out, because down here on my list, I have a lot of topics that I want to cover. But the thing is, during my letters to books this summer, there was actually a letter that didn't come out, and there was a lot of circumstantial reasons why the letter never came out. One of them was that my computer, my laptop computer where I do my edits for these videos, it did crap out on me. So womp womp. I was sad about that. Another reason is because of that, in the time frame that I was closing out the summer letters to books, because summer was over, I couldn't get a video out that I wanted to the quality that I wanted. But I want to bring up rougher subject matters and topics, and one of them is abuse, rape, some feminist topics. I want to bring those elements into letters to books. Hi, Sophie. It's nice to meet you. Uh, she's viewing on the live screen. But I want to bring those topics to Letters to Books because I feel like we have a lot of big conversations on BookTube, and my family just creeping into the shot. But we have a lot of big conversations. Back to what I was going. We have a lot of big conversations on BookTube, and that's one of the things that I also love about this community is that we do have these big conversations. But the conversation of rape and abuse is probably something that I haven't seen tackled too much, and that's because there is a lot of emotional crap that goes along with talking about those subject matters. There's a lot of shame, guilt. There's just so many things that goes into these bigger topics. Um, and that's something that I want to bring to Letters to Books. And hopefully I can articulate myself well to make something in that subject matter for Letters to Books. Because in my life personally, I had to deal with those things. I know a lot of people, statistically speaking, a lot of people have dealt with that, and it's just something that we don't talk about. So it'd be great if in this wider community we can have subject matters and talk about things like that. So let me reply to Sophie. Tell her hey for for joining. You guys, I don't know, my tracker thing on the side is not working, so you're gonna have to probably comment on the live feed. I have them both simultaneously up, so that is what's going on. So yeah, that's what I'm excited about. Let's talk about the next topic. What do you or why do you love reading books? I love reading books because it allows me to go to other places. And I talked about some of these rougher topics about rape and assault and all these other things. And so for me personally, something that I didn't really commute in one of my letters, like I told you, I have several letters that I didn't get a chance to get out there. But because of that reality that I lived in, it was nice to find a world that was apart from that. Um, and so that's why I really started falling in love with reading was because there was this other place that I can go to that wasn't the harsh reality that I lived in. I think in the first letters to book that I wrote about how different the world of books was from the world that I was in, and that's you guys probably don't know how true that was, and that's why I really love reading, and I still love reading to this day. Um, it's just that you can get away. There's nothing like that, and it lasts a long time. Like that's why I love you control the pace of what you read and how you read it. I just finished watching The Maze Runner last night. Somebody wanted to watch it. I didn't. I was a little hesitant to go to the movie. I'm not gonna lie because I haven't read The Maze Runner, and I wanted to read the book first before I went to go watch the movie. But they really wanted to see the movie, and so I was like, "All right, let's go." And the thing is, the movie was okay. All right, I did. I'm not gonna give my complete review of it. The movie was all right, but the thing is, I felt like there was so much meat that was probably in the book that wasn't in the movie, and then the pacing. Like I can't control how long I spent in the world. The movie is the amount of time that it is, and when it's over, it is over. That is it, and that sucks. Especially if you are really liking a book. When I really fall in love with the books, I usually pace myself in a way that I can spend more time in the world. So yeah, I don't know. But I don't know where was I going with that tangent. So next conversation. What challenges do you think you see in starting a booktube channel? Um, hey Frenchie, Dee, I haven't seen you guys in a while. Whoop, whoop. Some of the challenges that I see in starting a booktube channel. I think there are hurdles when you start a channel. One of them is how self-aware you become of yourself when you make a video um, because of the edits that you have to do and you have to watch yourself over and over and over. Another thing is how you compare yourself to others in the world of booktubing, because everyone here is friends and they're great and you love their content so much, and then you want to give your own spin whatever the content is, and then you do it and it doesn't turn out as good, so then you kind of like bang yourself over the head, not realizing that you offer something to the conversation and that you should just release it. So some of that is, a part of the challenges of overcoming, trying to compare yourself to other booktubers, trying to compare the quality of your video to other people, trying to compare how fluid your conversation is, or try to gauge how important your topic matters are to other people. I think those are some of the challenges that you have to overcome. You have to overcome yourself when you make booktube videos. For me personally, I'm not really a self-aware person. Like, no crap. Like, if I walked out the hair, I have like one little hair that if I wanted to, I could flick up, right? If I walked out the house and I had that hair popping up, I'm not a person that will go and check a mirror throughout the day, even though I should, because then it'll be like all day I'll get home and I found out I was walking around, all outside, all at work, all that stuff with like a hair sticking up. And then I could be down on myself about it, but I tend to just sweep it under the rug and try to find some humor in it, because it's one of those things that I hate being self-aware, because when I become self-aware, there's a level of criticalness that comes with it, which, I don't like to be super critical of myself, because life is too short to just be hung up on small things that don't matter, like your personality. And how funny you were and how much of a good time you had, and you're too worried about, did I sit up the right way? How is the person at the other table viewing me? Things like that, which is kind of ridiculous, and I try to stay away from that. But that's one of the challenges: self-awareness, realizing that your conversation has some value and some meaning, and so yeah, those are some of my challenges that I have to overcome when I started making booktube channels. A little bit later, I'm going to start talking about editing and things like that. The challenge with that, I said I would do that at 700 subscribers, so it's on the list, you guys. We're going to get to that in a minute. I just want to say hey to Frenchie, because I personally love this women's channel. So let's go to the next thing. How has booktube changed you? And that's a tough one. I think booktube does have positives and negatives. There's no getting around that. I think when you first start booktube, the way you think it's going to be, it's not necessarily like that, and you have, I don't know, you have these expectations of what it's going to be like and how quickly are you going to be well received by people. Like, all those stuff starts coming up. And it's not like that. It's not like that at all. Um, when you start making booktube channels, you start really connecting to the people who comment, consistently on your channel, and they, slowly but surely, sometimes some quicker than others, they just become your friends, people that you haven't even met in real life, and that's really special. And I guess that's something that I wasn't expecting to happen when I started making booktube content, to actually fall in love with people you haven't met. And it's weird because you don't really know them, but you know a part of them. And I think that's really important. I always have this odd philosophy of thinking that, we all have versions of ourselves that we display to people. Like the person I am at work, the person I am on YouTube, the person I am to my family, they're all different. There are common chords between all of them, but they're all different. And so I remember we had a live show with Let's Read. We were talking about the Word of Radiance. And I almost forgot the name of the book. And I met a whole bunch of booktubers, people I have never seen. And the thing is, it was so strange at first talking to them, because you know that the person that, when you actually are live with someone, you know that you don't really know that person. And then you get onto the topics of books, and then you lead on to other things that you're interested in. And then you get to know them, and it's, you never have that chance if you never venture out and make booktube content. I miss you guys too. I need to make some videos. I do. I need to find the time to make some videos. So that was, how Booktube kind of changed me in a sense, and it got me reading different books. I didn't mention that. That's one thing I think a lot of people can mention. Booktube gets you to read a lot of books, and it gets you to read things that might not been in your comfort zone. Um, I wasn't really a big classic buff, but right now I forgot to tell you guys what I'm reading. I'm reading North and South by Elizabeth Gastill, and I love the book. I love the miniseries. But this damn book is better than the miniseries, and I love it. I freaking love it. And I don't think I would ever have done that, like ventured off to actually read the classic novel itself, if it wasn't for BookTube. Uh, making me feel comfortable and brave to even venture into different genres that I didn't even think I would be interested in. And a lot of it comes from watching other people talk about the book. And you hear other people talk about the book or the subject matter or maybe the genre, and you really get excited to try something in that genre. So that happened too. Next thing, how has BookTube met my expectations? Oh man, jeez. I think in some respects, yes. In some respects, no. In a lot of respects, yes. When I made my BookTube video, like my first intro to BookTube, I thought it'd be like subscribers everywhere, and people that you can talk to books about, everywhere, and it wasn't necessarily like that, and that's why I kind of like live videos because I think it has more of that natural conversation flow. Like right now, Frenchie D is watching my video. She wrote, "Girl, you need to get back to making videos. We miss you." I can instantly say, "Hell yeah, I need to make some more videos, Frenchie. I agree. I need to do that," and I want to do that because I totally miss this community. I totally miss everyone in it. I don't want this to go away just because I'm working full time. Though I have like these odd hours, I'm going to have to make some time to make videos because there's a lot of stuff going on in the BookTube community and YouTube in general, and so we need to have a conversation. Next thing, it says elements of conversations I want to have for letters to books. I talked a little bit about that already, about a little bit earlier. I wrote it down as a point about talking about maybe these hot button conversations, talking about rape, sexual assault, some feminist topics, how we're viewed as readers within our community. Trying to phrase those in a letters to book format is something that I want to do because I feel like those conversations of assault and rape and all those are hot button things and things that I can relate to in my life, and I know other viewers can, and it's something that people are either ashamed to talk about, afraid to talk about, or just don't know how to talk about. And so maybe if I can frame them in a letters to book format, um, we'll be able to drive more conversation. People will be able to get free of some of the crap that's happened to them in their past. Some of the things that I struggle with is sometimes feeling like damaged goods or things like that. Those topics need to happen, and I'm trying to find medians and ways to do that. And one of them is probably going to be letters to books. But there's definitely, I have more things down the pipeline. If I can ever have the chance to actually do them, that would be great. So, next thing, 700 subscribers talking about video editing. So yeah, we're finally to the video editing things. Thank you guys for still subscribing, even though I've been absentee for about a month. I'm really sorry about that. But life, like Let's Read said, life. Oh gosh, it could be. Oh gosh, let's not talk about life. Let's talk about books. So in my video, what was it? BookTube culture video or something to that extent. I made a comment about. Let me see if I can remember. I'm paraphrasing my own self because I can't remember exactly what I said. But I said something to the extent that, if you have two videos, you have one that's clearer, one that's not as clear. There's a good chance that people will click on the video that is clearer. And so I felt like, oh man, I have to go into explanation about this because my point is valid, but I think there has to be constructs around it so that way I can be more clearer on what I was getting at. And so I said I would talk about it at 700. Here we are, 700, so we're going to talk about it. So The thing is, I before I started making booktube videos, like a lot of people, I was just a regular YouTube consumer. And so what that means is I would go on YouTube. Sometimes I would click on what the most popular video is, and sometimes I would look for certain topics and I would view videos that are on that page. So there is not a good chance that I'll click onto the second page. Only if I was really, really interested in a topic, then I'll go, several pages into, the YouTube Finder. Anyways, how this works is when you look at the picture that's on the side thumbnail, there is a good chance that you're using the title of whatever they name the title and the thumbnail to make a good decision on if you're going to click on that video. You're trying, because when you're looking at the title and the thumbnail, you're trying to see how relative to what you want that video is. It's just common nature as a viewer. So right now, if I wanted to, let's see what happens if I type in booktube, you guys, into YouTube. Since this is a live, live stream, I can do awesome things like that. Like go to YouTube and type things like booktube in. So if I type booktube into this YouTube Finder right here, I'm pretty sure there's a way to show my screen at the same time. But I'm too lazy to figure out what button that is. All right, so if I type in YouTube right now, it says top 10 booktubers, and you see all these thumbnails and these titles that come in. As a viewer, I'm going to gravitate to the image that is the clearest. Now, if I click on that video and it's not showing me what was in that thumbnail, like I don't even see that picture of that thumbnail, I, as a viewer, am going to be disappointed. I'm going to feel a little duped. So you don't do that. You don't put thumbnails, like make some pretty clean thumbnail, and then when they click on your video, you're like in the dark or something. You don't do that. And so, yeah, that it's important. It is an important aspect. I don't think it's as important as the person who is doing the content. And I think that is what gets lost when you talk about video editing and how important it is. I think sometimes people feel like you're devaluating or, trying to degrade the person who makes the videos. And it's not that at all. I'm subscribed to like a whole bunch of people who just have their smartphones. They have their smartphones and they shoot their videos, and I love them. Like I love the person who does that video. But when we're talking about trying to get traffic through your channel, to be realistic, it's going to be the thumbnail, and hopefully the thumbnail portrays something that happened in the video, and the title. Those two things are just going to go hand in hand. So when you work on editing, you want to work on creating thumbnails that portray what was in the video. And when you edit your video, I know there's a conversation on how long your video should be, and everyone has their own timing. People say, I can't stand videos that are over 5 minutes. Some people love videos that are over 5 minutes, especially if it's something that you want to talk about, something you want to hear about. So I leave that up to personal perspective, because there are times I have videos that are just way too long. Oh yeah, let's put some good comments about him just putting a black, like he leaves his video going for like 1 second and then he starts doing his thing, which I think is important too. Like when you're making videos, I'm going to tell you, there are times I've learned when you make videos, you get into these weird tangents sometimes. You get lost in these rabbit hole things. And you're like, oh crap. And you want to just go back or just summarize everything you said in 1 minute, but you don't want to turn off your camera and start over. Sometimes you just get used to keeping your hand in one posture. Like, let's say I was talking to you like this for the whole video or for the point that I wanted to make in the video. If I find out I'm going too long, I will literally stop like this, think for a second, which I should have did before making the video, because I don't, just like these, like right now, I don't know if this thing can pick it up or not. I don't know, the light and the screen. All I have are bullet points of what I want to talk about. Like literally it says 700 subscribers talking about editing videos. I have no idea what I'm going to say for this segment. I just start talking just like this. So sometimes when I'm talking just like this, there are times where I ramble on, and I can just summarize that for 1 minute. So I'll re-put my hand up and do the speech again. So that way when you're editing, it can be one smooth thing and it's not like choppy or stuff like that. So Yeah, people have preferences. People are like, I'm not going to watch a 10-minute, 20-minute video. So you want to think about that when you're editing a video. Or sometimes maybe you want to talk about the topic and then say you have a longer video. That's what I want to do. Like have shorter conversations and then have larger conversations on the smaller conversations I was having with you guys. So that way, if you're interested in that topic matter, you can go to that 10, 15, 20-minute video and actually have like a full on dialogue about that thing. And I think that's one of the hard things as far as going on to what I expected about Booktube. I didn't mention this, but as you talk, you know, things pop up. One of the things that hasn't met my expectation of Booktube is the conversation sometimes, because you have to edit so many things out so that way people will actually watch your video. That sometimes you don't get to say a lot of the things that you wanted to say about the topic matter because you literally have 4 minutes. And sometimes 4 minutes can feel like a long time, especially if it's a book that nothing really happened. But for those books that you love and you fall in love with, 4 minutes is just, it's not enough time. It's not enough time. And then by the time you do the intro, you're like, hey, my name is Ruth, and you do the outro, you have like about 3 minutes to say all the things that you loved about the book, and you can't get it out. And sometimes you feel like you leave a lot of things off the table. And I want to try to find ways to to put more things on the table when I make videos. So yeah, video editing. That's my kind of little spill. It's important. It's important. Like I don't want to say don't make your videos. I encourage everyone to make your videos. I don't want this editing video topic to like turn into some crap storm about me saying don't make your videos have the best editing tools, because I have like a Canon shot. I shoot in my living room. I do my live shows in a room with the light in the back. Okay, so the thing is most important is getting your personality across. I think that's important, and talking about the things that are important to you, and to make sure that when you edit, at least try to get the things that you really were passionate about on the footage, no matter how crazy you look when you're doing it. Sometimes I feel like I edit out parts that I really wanted to say, and just because the footage, like scenery or how I looked, or maybe the viewing angle was just bad, that I don't release it. And jeez, I need to work on just paying attention to getting out the things that I love the most. Yeah, they're talking to, if you guys want, I have 6 viewers. If you want, definitely check out the right side of the live show, because Frenchie, I love watching all her freaking videos. And Let's Read, he's amazing. And we have other amazing booktubers on here, and they're talking about video editing and things like that. I think it's odd talking about video editing and what you use. Maybe I should talk about that too, what video editor I use and things like that. Because sometimes I feel like it's like trade secrets. Like if you tell somebody what you use and stuff like that. And I don't want BookTube to be like a competition, which is what I was saying. Like you compare yourself to other BookTubers, so then you try to, I don't know. It's weird, and I don't mind sharing all my stuff. I don't really care. So inbox me if you have questions and stuff. Sometimes you just need people to just look at your video and just be like, okay, how could I improve that? And I find it best to ask people who actually view your content, because they might feel more comfortable telling you that via message, not on the post. But just having someone actually look at your videos and be like, okay, this is something that I would, you know, if you change this or if you did this, improve this aspect, I think your videos will be better received by other people. Things like that. Okay, on to some lighter topics, because we have been getting into some really heavy crap, haven't we? So these are some stuff that come from Tuesday Talks, and one of them is hardcore review or review with respect. This is one of those topic matters that I find interesting, because I always try to have a healthy median of both. I think my last live talk show, I talked about stuck up book reviewers and stuff like that, how critical maybe they can be about certain genres or some books. And I also try to talk about the flip side of that, like how, you know, it's okay that you don't like every book, but a level of respect, I think, is maybe what the element that I was missing when I'm talking about how you know, talk about a book or a person and things like that. I think it's important that you review books hardcore, depending on your demeanor. I remember trying to review books a certain way to try to match other people. Damn comparison thing always gets in the way when you try to look at other people's videos. Um, and then you try to review books like how other people review books. I think you should review books how you read them. I think that will give people a better respect on how you enjoyed the book or you didn't enjoy the book. And I think for me personally, that's something that, you know, let me turn this stupid thing off. That is something that want to try to do, like review books with respect and still be critical. But I think the element of reviewing books that gets lost and why people sometimes don't like reviewing books is that they have to be so hypercritical that they take themselves out of the book and they can't enjoy it. And I think it'll be great if we can find ways to review books like how we read them, to make them more enjoyable. So that way you don't feel like you're being so critical of every element that you take yourself out of the book. All right, next topic, lending books. All right. Do I lend books? One of the things is I have a Kindle. I love reading digital books. And one of the positives sometimes is that you don't have to worry about your books going missing because they're on your device. And when you lend your device, it's more easier to get your device back because it costs $150 or however much your e-reader device costs. And so it's easy for you to be like, hey, I need my Kindle back, or you can use it for the weekend, and people are more lenient to give it back. But when you give someone a hard copy, a book that costs sometimes, man, hard copies are expensive. They can cost you like $20 sometimes, even more. Like, what is S? The book S is like 30 something. I was looking for a cheap version of that book because they don't have it in Kindle format, and for good reason, since there's, topics in the margin and there's a story within a story. You can't really, I don't know how you can do that element via an ebook. And I think that's one of the downfalls. There are some experiences that you can have with a book that you can't have with an e-reader. And then there's definitely a lot of, for me personally, experiences that you can have in an e-reader that you don't necessarily get in a book. And so they can be hecka expensive. And so when you let someone borrow a $20 book that you love and you have your little jot notes in and then they never give it back, or you feel like a pest for bothering them, I think that's the hardest thing to ask for like, hey, are you done reading it? And they're like, oh, no, I'm not done. And then you want to say, okay, can you bring it back tomorrow? Like, you don't even care. So I think, I don't know, my topic is I would love other people to read the books that I like. I would just love for them to purchase the book themselves or go to a library to check it out themselves. So that way I don't lose a copy that I invested in. One of the things about being a book lover is, to a certain extent, we are collectors in a sense. There is an element of collecting when we get books. And so when we lose something in the collection, sometimes I forget. Like, I don't, and that's why I usually get 2 or 3 copies of things that I really love. So that way when I talk to other people about it and they're like, oh, do you have the book? That's always the next question that comes out of someone's mouth. When you talk about a book you love and they haven't read it, they're like, oh, because I was watching a funny thing yesterday night when I was also watching The Maze Runner. The Mockingjay trailer came up, and then one of my friends turned to me. She's like, "Do you have the Mockingjay trailer? Do you have the Mocking?" Actually, she asked for the whole series. She even asked just for the Mockingjay. She asked for the whole thing, Hunger Games, everything. Like, she was asking for the whole set. And I was like, there was a pause because if I did physically have the books, I know I would be remiss. I would give it to her still, but I would still be like, am I ever going to get my book back? Because that's one of the hardest things, to get your book back. But luckily I have it digitally, and I said, okay, I'll send you the PDFs. And that's one of the other good things about reading digital books. You can actually get PDF versions, and so then you can just send those to whoever, and you don't ever care if you get it back. It's their own digital copy. Hey, have all you want. So yeah, that's where I come from. I'm going to check out the comments. I guess I should check out Twitter. I have exhausted all the topic matters that I had planned to talk about. So if you guys want to talk about something else, dive deeper into something I said, let me know in the comment box on the right while I read through some of, I guess, the old comments, um, and check out the Twitter at the same time. Again, it's nice to see everyone. Totally miss everyone. I can't. I seriously, I thought I haven't made a video like in 2 weeks, and then I checked my last video. It was like September 3rd. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was away for that long. All right, so and if you have my Twitter, I guess you can tweet me something if you want. All right, so let's go up. Frenchie D and Sophie, and let's read. You guys are going in on it. Yeah, I agree. People do look at you funny when you ask for your books back. I think that's one of the other hard parts. I'm not a comfort. My personality is not very confrontational. So when I ask for my book back, and you get the, or they act like it's their book. Like people really will steal your book. Like you'll be like, "Can I have my book?" They're like, "No," or "Yeah, I'm not done," and then they go off doing something else, not trying to mediate a time frame for when you're going to get your book back. I think that's nerve wracking, and it's something that I always try to avoid. And you can't avoid that when you're talking about books. Or worst thing is, you give a book in a certain condition, you let someone borrow your book, and then it comes back in some crappy condition. And then how do you bring that conversation back up? All you can like really do is say, okay, I'll never lend a book to that person. But at the loss of the book that you love being ruined, I think that's also a hard thing. People don't really respect other people's property a lot of times, especially with books. Because when you lend someone a book and they read it for that time period that they have the book, sometimes it feels like it's their book. And so they eat and there's like weird stains. Ugh, jeez. Killer. Do, 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 do. Yeah. One of the weird things is Let's Read talks about the experience about lending a book. One of those things is I remember in college I let someone, I lended out my Harry Potter books. I don't think, I'm not mad about it because Harry Potter is like a good edition, like a good book. So, but I never got some of those editions back that I lent out. And so I have the digital version of the Harry Potter, but I kind of, wish I also had the hardcover books that I bought back in the day. Um, but sometimes you lend books and you never get them back. Sometimes like 7, 8 months later, and you never get them back. It's like daggers to your heart, and you feel weird if you don't. I don't know, if you don't get those books back. All right, you guys. It's hard for me to get off, but I think I'm about to log off because I don't think I see any questions on here. I love Sophie on the right hand side. She's hilarious. I'm guilty of that too. Sometimes I get attached to someone else's book. I guess I didn't bring up the other side of the topic of lending books. When someone lends you a book, when someone lends me a book, I feel like I have to keep it in pristine condition. But then there's a level of attachment that I get with the book that's lent to me, and I'm like, I don't want to give, you don't want to give them back the book because you gain an attachment to not only that like the book topic or whatever the book is, but you also get attached to the actual physical book that you read the story in. I don't know, there's something about reading the same copy that you read the whole story in. Like I have this Harry Potter book that is torn up. Like it is torn up. I read Harry Potter so many times. I think book 6 or something that I have in there. And even if I get a new book and I read the same story, it's not the same because there are memories attached to where you were and what you were doing at certain parts in the story that are attached to the copy that you read the story in. I don't know if I'm sounding crazy, right? But yeah, there are those things that happen, and so sometimes you can be a little, remiss. Like I don't want to give up that copy. Um, so yeah, that's true. But yeah, you guys, it was fun talking to everyone and seeing everyone again. I promise somewhat, sort of, kind of. I'm going to try to find time to make videos. I know people are thinking, why don't you shoot them on the weekends or something? Like, you know, many of us do in the booktube sphere on the weekend when you have a chance. But the thing is, my whole family, they're home on the weekends. So weekends is not really a viable option for me to record without like craziness, like kids running in and out of screen, adults cooking in the background, people asking how long you're going to be, because I don't, uh, script anything that I do when I do the shows besides knowing what the topic matter is. Like I said, like the bulletin points. Like, okay, I know I want to do a review for um, this book. Okay, that's as far as I get, and I sit down and I try to do that. So sometimes it takes me some time to get out all my thoughts, and I can't do that when there's like random people and noises and people trying to say, when are you going to be done? And I'm like, when I get done. um, so yeah, I have to find a better time to shoot. But again, you guys, I love you guys. I miss you guys. Have more topic matters because I need to do live shows. If I do live shows, it's probably going to be Mondays, but it's probably going to be earlier because of my work situation. It'll probably be like at 8:30 a.m. for like an hour or something. Maybe I can do that because I do miss the community. I want to talk about books again, books that I'm reading, books that I haven't read. I love that. I need to have a topic matter, a subject matter where I talk about books I haven't read and get other people to tell me about, the books, because some people don't make videos. Like, there are great people in our community who don't make videos. They're they they talk to you through the comments, and they have so much things to say that are, I value. And so I would like to have conversations like that too. The book that I haven't read of the week, and maybe people can fill me in on that. But that is it. Yeah. She's yeah, Sophie, come back anytime. I get this comment a lot when I see people on my live stream, and they're like, "This is the first time being on a live show and replying and having a conversation." It's great. I remember my first live show, and I actually typed something, and the person read it, and they spoke to me. And I think that's one of the things I like about live shows. I can read and actually talk to you at the same time. I think people usually enjoy that. So yeah, and it's fun for me too. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off. Thank you guys, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.